Happy Thursday, everybody. It's the day to tell the truth on a lot of things. My attire is one of my favorite Christmas characters, the Grinch. And I have my Grinch coffee mug, everybody. Hello, Mr. Grinch. Happy holidays, everybody. I know some of you are excited. You're going to be with your family and friends. So, you all have a wonderful holiday. Now, let's talk about some things. But before we do, please comment, like, and share the video. If you have not subscribed, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and I will contact you each time I upload a new video. I've been talking all week, giving food for thought for the men, but I hope it is also helping some of the women who watch as well. The emails this week so far, I have received so many emails, y'all, because this topic is just scratching the surface. So y'all keep the emails coming. Well, ladies, talking about the emails, the men want to address some things. And in particular, I'm going to go head on with it. The men said, some of them, not all of them, some of them said, Auntie, I don't want a woman with kids. Some men have said they will not consider being with a woman, not for the long term, with kids. Because he says, I'm not going to marry no woman with no kids. I don't want to deal with her baby daddy coming over to the house and all of that. I'm just not going to deal with that. There are some men who make it clear, I'm not trying to be no stepdaddy. And some also have said, if a woman have over one child, she can forget me as a real prospect of a husband, because I'm just not going to take on all of that other stuff. Now, for as many men who said they don't want a woman with kids, there are some men who say they don't mind a woman with children. So I know a lot of older men say, though, her children need to be grown. And I get that, because there are a lot of women who are over 40 and their kids are grown and gone from the home. And they make it clear, I'm not going to date a man with no little kids. Can you imagine me with a 50-year-old man and he got a 3-year-old? Not going to do that. So I so get it from both sides. So a lot of men have been writing in saying, I'm not going to deal with baby daddy drama. And if I'm dating an older woman, her children need to be grown and on their own and not be waiting on mama to take care of them. That is what they are saying. Also, a lot of men are saying they're not going to waste their time trying to court a woman or date a woman who's been ran through. Don't sit here and act like you don't know what I'm talking about. A lot of men who say they are not going to consider wasting time dating you or courting you when you already got a high body count, which I talked about a little bit last week. You up here been ran through, got all of these men in and out your life. They saying you not wife material. All you are is a woman that I'm going to just come by and keep it moving. Y'all get what I'm saying? And they're saying, the men keep saying, women, y'all are unrealistic. Y'all want us to do all of this courting you, whining and dining you and buying for you, and you're not even wife material. Some of you won't even make a good girlfriend. I'm just reporting on what the emails are saying. Men are saying, y'all expect us to pay your bills. Why should we pay your bills? You're not our wife. We're not married to you. Why should we come in and pay all your bills for you when you running around with everybody you can and you clout chasing, and any man that give you $1, you go for that? A lot of men say they're not going to co-sign and sign on to that. Ladies, they're saying you better have your own. A lot of men emails are saying they don't want a woman who don't have her own means of income. She needs to be self-sufficient. She needs to know how to go out there and get it. And a lot of men say, I don't want a woman who's not educated, one who's got a 4th grade education. She can't even complete a sentence, and she up here with this whole long list of stipulations for me. Girl, what you bringing to the table? Because you graduated from the 8th grade. I'm just saying, I'm just giving you what the men are giving me. Some men are saying, all some women have to offer is their body. And a lot of men say they tired of you. They say they're tired of you. And they're not going to try to please you, chase after you, or invest their time in you. They will see you when they see you. Call you when they can't get the number one chick they want, and you just somebody to come by and hang out with. Now that is coming from the men. Also, the men say women are very ungrateful. They are saying you show little appreciation for what they do. And these are men who are dating women. These are not the married guys. Because some of the married men are saying that their wives fuss all the time because he's doing the best he can. I'm a side-eye that. Because some of you married men, as I said the other day, any excuse you make is better than none. That's what you think. You think you're doing the best. I'm doing the best I can. The money only go but so far, money tight. Man, women ain't trying to hear that if that's your wife. Your wife do not need to hear, times is hard. Time's hard for everybody, boy. It's not easy. Life's not easy for anybody, man. Man up, quit complaining, acting like you are a child, and get yourself up and figure it out. That is from the women. They're sick of you married men. Married men. That's why you go out and get girlfriends, you say, because you don't want to hear your wife griping and complaining all the time. Guess what? You stop putting that little money over there to your girlfriends and she gonna dump you too. Because the truth of the matter and fact of the matter is, if a woman can't count on a man to help do what he's supposed to do in a relationship or in a marriage, she gonna find somebody else will. And guess what? Men. What one man won't do, another man waiting to do it. I'm going to just put that out there for you to think. Because some of you, y'all really for real need to have my boy buy t-shirts. Because women are sick of your excuses. It's one excuse after another. And guess what? That goes on year after year after year. But nowadays, I must salute some of these younger women. They ain't putting up with it. The stuff that our mamas and grandmamas put up with from our granddaddies, uncles, and some of these men, these younger women ain't going for it. I salute you. Some of these younger women got their career. They got them certification. They got them different side hustles going. Some of these girls got their CDLs. They not sitting around waiting on you men, because what men have continuously shown women on a consistent basis, some not all, is that we can't count on you. That you will not come through in the clutch. You are unreliable, undependable, and you have repeatedly let us down. And y'all can say amen from the back on that. Because some of you men know what I'm saying is the truth. Some of you men, as I said yesterday, you have some hidden issues that you have stuffed down and you've never healed from. You need to get some help. Because some of you have some psychological things going on. Some of you got some emotional stuff, baggage and hurt and blame and shame going on inside of you, and you've never healed from it. Men, what about the men in your village? Again, men, where are you? It's time out for these men in the village to coddle you and baby you and take up and defend you when they know you wrong. Now, real men out there, it's time for you to bring these guys into admonishment, chastise them, and let them know, son, you out of order. What you doing is wrong. That's not a good look, son. The men in your village should be doing that, not co-signing your bad behavior. Oh boy, when I was young, just like you, I had plenty women. No, he just sitting up here telling you a war story, because now he all broke down and stuff. Arthritis, in a wheelchair, on a scooter, on a walker, and he just reliving of something he did when he was in his 20s, and now he's 75 and he co-signing that. Men need to stand up and talk to the village and bring these men into correction. Men, we count on you to correct each other. The system should not be forcing a man to take care of his children. The system should not be forcing a man to pay his alimony. The system shouldn't be taking care of your children. The system should not be giving your wife or your children's mother a card to swipe just so they can buy groceries. And I'm just keeping that 100. Because there are some cultures, none of that exists. None of that exists. There is no Medicaid in some cultures, in some countries, and on certain continents. Those things don't exist. That man got to get out there and make a way. If he don't make a way to provide for those children to eat and his woman to eat, they don't eat. A lot of cultures, the men are different. They don't sit around and wait on a woman to get her EBT on her card to buy steaks and feed you and your children. That's just not how it goes. Some cultures would not allow that. Some men of different cultures think that that is a disgrace. Some men of different cultures repeatedly say some men in certain countries, they are very lazy. Very lazy. And they got it made and they have it easy. And then you over here in this country sit around and say people from other countries coming over here and taking your jobs. How they gonna take a job you didn't want? Food for thought. Also, some of you men, your village, again, needs to correct you. And the village does not just consist of a village of men. Some of you have a village of women. Also, your grandmother, your mother, your aunties. Some of these women look at you and say, son, you need to do better. You didn't handle that right. Son, don't talk to that woman. Don't talk to her like that. Son, you're not doing a good job taking care of your children. I've heard older women, when I was younger, can speak to their sons like that and say, no, I never forget my grandmother. God rest her soul. She used to always, forever, telling my Uncle Earl, you know you didn't talk to her right. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because what you do, Earl, is a reflection of me and your daddy. And what you're not going to do is get out there and disrespect that woman like that. You're not going to do that. And you know what my Uncle Earl would say? Yes, ma'am, mother. Now you go out there, Earl, and you apologize right now. And he would get up and do it. Where are those women? Where are those women? And I used to hear my granddaddy say, son, you don't do that. I don't care how grown you are. What you're not going to do is be disrespectful. You understand me? And all I would hear my uncles would say, yes, sir, daddy. Yes, sir. Still in their 40s, 50s, still saying yes, sir, and yes, ma'am. Boy, that's lost. Because most of them you try to talk to now in their 20s and 30s. You hear me, son? Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but still, I'm going to do what I want to do because you don't understand. Who talks that way to their mother? Who speaks that way to their dad? Y'all got to get this thing right. Either you don't have good role models in your life or your village, or you just refuse to do better. And make all of these excuses. Why? That is a problem the women have with you men, is when they try to talk to you and address certain things, rather than you listen to get clarity and understanding of what she is saying, you jump in and start getting defensive and explaining why you do this or why you don't. Us telling her, well, you don't understand how hard. That is not what she needs to hear. She needs for you to listen, so you can understand what she's trying to tell you, so you can do better. I will say this. I'm going to close today's show on this Tell the Truth Thursday and tell y'all I had a good village of men around me. I spoke last week about the village of women. Y'all, I thank God that I had a village of men that surrounded me with love, with support, with compassion, and not one of them ever tried to mishandle me or touch me or say something to me out of order or out of the way. They did not violate me. I thank God that I don't have that story, because I do know a lot of people, a lot of girls grew up with me in my class range, in my era, that they were violated and they were mishandled. But I thank God. I definitely thank him, because that was not my story. And I just want to shout out my village, Alvin, also known as Man's Son. Y'all, that man right there. I always said, the one that really get my heart, the man that's really going to get my heart, going to remind me of something of him. And not only him, but the men in my village, all of the men will have to have, the one that really get my heart Because, sometimes you get married the first couple of times or one time, and that ain't the man who got your heart, because he's like totally opposite, or he may be a flash in the pan. But the one that really gets you, and one that I always said, he has to have components of these men. And one of them is Alvin Manson. Hard working, had so much wisdom. And my grandfather was even tempered. He wasn't a man that fly off the handle. Sometimes my grandmother would say, "Man, son, now I done told you and told you I need a new stove in here. Now I'm just not gonna cook then if you don't get a new stove in here." And all my grandfather would say, "ML, I heard you the first time. All right." And she wouldn't say nothing else. Wouldn't say nothing else. But okay. He was not one of those feisty men and loud man. He was just quiet spoken, very observant. He could look at stuff and so full of wisdom, and he can tell you, just like he told me about that example I gave y'all last week. He would say, "I just wanted you to hear yourself." And sometime I'd be talking and my grandfather would say, "Now I want you to say that again." And I'll say it again. He said, "Now say it again." And I'm like, "But you heard me the first time." He said, "I heard you, but you didn't hear you." And I said it again. He said, "Now, did what you just say make any sense?" And I'm like, "Boy, that didn't make sense." Exactly, baby. That man, it needs to be so many more. But some more men in my village. Walter, Daniel, man, I tell you, he stepped in there and was that was my stepfather. That was my mother's first husband. Daniel, I salute you, man. Walter was my father, but Daniel was my father too. MacArthur, oh my goodness. Man, I tell you, I can't say enough about these men. Earl, Charles, Tommy, Mr. Forrest, Mr. Edmund. Oh man, these men here in my village. And y'all, my Uncle Earl and my Uncle Charles, them men right there, they had this little, as they used to call me, the little brown bomber. Man, they just loved on me and my other female cousins. We liked being around them because they didn't violate us. They wasn't mean men. They just loved on us as little girls and protected us. They're the first men who showed us how to change a tire and all kind of things like that. Even my brothers, I can't leave my brothers out. Casey, Terrell, Harry, Fidel, God rest his soul. I'm going to shout you out, Law. Even though some of these guys I'm shouting out is my first cousins, they were my brothers to me. They are brothers to me. Law, also known as Nod, I'm shouting you out. Carrie, my brother Tyrone, Walter, we call him JJ, Wayne, all of y'all. And if I've missed some of y'all, I'm sorry. But it's so many of y'all. But y'all, I thank God for you men who were in my village. Y'all really, y'all showed a little girl what a man is supposed to be and what a man is supposed to do. Y'all showed me that you worked hard. You were providers. You protected us. That's what real men do. And you treated the women very well. You wasn't cursing and disrespectful. And I grew up watching that, and I knew the man who would get me would have to know how to speak to me. He would have to know how to keep his voice at a certain volume when I'm trying to express myself to him. He would be a praying man. He would be a man who knows if nothing else works, I want you to go in there and go to bed, honey. Let me worry about this tonight. Those are the kind of men that was in my village. And you know what? Those are the type of men the women are asking for today. We don't see that a lot. We don't see that a lot. But I do want to thank God, and I want to shout out the head of my family. I want to shout out my husband, because like I told y'all, Pastor Casey, Auntie Casey, I didn't get it right the first time. The first time I was 28 years old. I didn't get it right the first time. I didn't even get it right the second time. But I thank God that this time, the one that God prepared me for came. He found me. I didn't find him, didn't look for him. And he always reminds me, he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtains favor. And he always says, I found you. and I got my favor. And he's a man who is very reasonable. He's a good listener. He listens to me. And he comes to me and he'll say, babe, I was looking at it this way. How do you see it? What you think about this? You think we should do this? You think I should accept this contract off? He values my opinion. And that's what I was saying, I think, in Tuesday's video. Women don't feel heard. They feel like, man, you are dismissive. You don't want to hear what they're saying, or you don't value us enough to even hear our opinion. You act like what we think doesn't matter. And I thank God that my husband values my opinion. He asks me for my input, and also he watched not only my back, but he covers me in prayer. And ladies, one thing, when you got a man who knows how to pray, not just for you, but pray over you and can pray you through something, you have something powerful. And that is what is missing from a lot of relationships, is a spiritual connection. And for me, one of the most important aspects, just for me personally, and I'm no expert or guru, and the one thing that I had to grow into and I had to learn, and I always knew something was missing in my other relationships, and I realized this: it's the spiritual connection. If I don't connect with you spiritually, I can't connect with you. Not to move any further than just a acquaintance, but the spirituality, because I am called of God. I do have a call on my life. I am a woman of God. I teach God's word, and I believe in that. And I believe in empowering people and lifting people up. I'm not one of those people that has to browbeat you into heaven or hell. That's not what my calling is. That's not what my gift is. But what I am saying is, I do believe that you got to have a spiritual connection with somebody, especially if you are, quote unquote, a Christian woman. It's no point in you even dealing with a man who does not believe in the same thing you believe. How can two walk together unless they agree? That's scripture. A house divided against itself, that house cannot stand. You have to be unified. You have to be able to communicate in a relationship. Commitment is very important. You going in a relationship or in a relationship, you must be able to communicate effectively with each other. You got to have good listening skills on both sides. It all cannot be your way. You've got to compromise things. And if you are dating someone and you don't agree on very important aspects such as child rearing, or if this person has children from other women or other men, if you all can't agree on that issue, that relationship is not going to work. Because you're going to always be at odds. And don't think that once you get in it, you can change them. Because the fact of the matter is, if you are a woman and you have a man with children, that is not going to change. His children are not going anywhere. His children is in his life the rest of his life. When you become a parent, that is what you sign up for. There is no me time and taking a vacation from your children, because your job and duties as a parent never ends. So ladies, I am telling you, stop your complaining about, oh man, every time his daughter come over, she always wanting money. A daddy gonna do that for his little girl. I don't care if she's 50 years old. A daddy's girl, she can just look at daddy a certain way, and daddy gonna go in them pockets. And men who dating daddy's girl, if you got an issue with that, and don't you be running to your daddy, telling your daddy, I ain't doing this. Well, you don't have to run to your daddy when your daddy come by the house and the lights off. Daddy don't have to ask his daughter, what's going on here? He can look and see there's no power in the house. He ain't paid the light bill. Daddy, we ain't got the money. It's tight. And okay, daddy gonna go down there. Give me that account number, girl. Let me call in this payment. And then you as a man come home and you all in your feelings because daddy done come and paid the light bill. When you ought to be over there telling that man, sir, thank you so much. I remember one time I heard my grandmother say, when my grandfather came to ask for her hand, what the village of men in her family said to her, granddaddy, daddy, uncles, them say, look here, this girl is used to living in a home with a roof over it. She's used to being able to go to the refrigerator and there's food in there. She is accustomed to having heat in the house. She's accustomed to wearing new clothes, especially dressing up on Sunday. She used to getting her hair done every week or every 2 weeks. Okay? And she has ability to drive any one of these trucks or cars out here on this yard whenever she wants to. It's got gas in it. If you can't do any of those things consistently, you bring her right back here or you leave her here and you go on down the road. That's what needs to be said. But a lot of girls don't have their daddy to say it because their daddy is not in their life. A lot of you men out there, you don't have that kind of training and teaching because your daddy did not teach you the things you need to learn how to be a man. You just grew up thinking being a man means making a bunch of babies. Yeah, it don't take skill to do that. You grew up being a man you thought was just working and occasionally swinging by, dropping $1 or $2 here. And just, that's the best I can do. See, the old school men, like the men I just named in my village, when something was lacking, they told that woman, you go in there, man, go to bed. You don't worry about this. I'm going to take care of this. When you say this need to be done by how much you say it is, and when that day come, the money was coming brought and put on that table. That's how it was then. It ain't like that now because now the men expect the women. You better get on your grind, girl. You can do some hair out the house or something. You can cook. Why don't you sell some dinners? That's a man's now. That's how the men are. That's their answer nowadays. You better get you a side hustle, babe, because you do that. That's so he don't have to do nothing. Your village. I thank God for the village of men. Some awesome men. Thank you all for watching. Tomorrow's show will be a little bit different. We're going to be on a different tip because like I said, I want to give you some tips and some tools that you can use so you don't go into the next year with this nonsense. Stop watching all of these reality shows and thinking that's the real world, how people live for real. It's a lot of these billionaires and millionaires that you men been admiring. They're going down. You understand? Their life is crumbling right in front of them because know what? They have thought they were untouchable all these years. And they have been mishandling women and mistreating women. And some of you men have grown up to be men and you got that same behavior. You just ain't got that kind of money. But you don't treat women right. You've done some things that was foul to women. Pull yourself in the correction if the village is not going to do it. And understand it's time to do better. Don't go into the new year with this mess. Straighten it out. You out of order. Thank you for watching. I'll see you back tomorrow.